What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is the live stream for UFC Vegas 20. We're going to be covering some weigh-ins. We're going to be covering some Draftkings, some betting, and just give my final thoughts on the card as a whole. Coming off of a really crazy week last week. I mean, it was finish after finish after finish after finish after finish after finish. I see the complete opposite on this card. I see a lot of decisions coming our way for the Saturday's card. And I was feeling really good. Hit some nice bets going into the main event. All I needed for Curtis Blaydes to do is to win. And he goes out there, and the dude comes out there with probably the most questionable game plan I've ever seen. I thought there was a bunch of different ways he could have attacked that fight, but went out there and struck with Derek Lewis. And yes, he looked good, but it only takes one shot. And like I said all week, I think Derek Lewis only landed 3 or 4, maybe 5 total strikes. And it only takes that one. But Curtis Blaydes went in there for a very lazy, unset up takedown and paid for it there. So looking to bounce back here. It was so close last week, but Curtis Blaydes could not get it done. But I do have, let's see, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bets. So some decent action on this card. I know it's a short card. We have 10 fights. What's up, guys? I see you in the chat. What's up, Christian? I see you in there, Sosa. What's up, Thomas? What's up, the Gaming Wolf? What's up, Doc? How's it going, man? I'm always excited to join your show. Appreciate that, Andy. Beat the bookies. I agree. Yep, not a lot of fights. We did lose 2. We lost the Menafield and Knight, and then we lost the Oliveira and Kurmagomedov. 2 really good fights. Let's see here. Let's get it. I just checked my bookie, and you can't parlay props. I guess that's only a DraftKings thing. That gone by sub inside is pretty juicy. Yes, it is. Yeah, some books don't allow you to parlay props there. What's up, TJ? Jacoby, Lawrence, Croom, Ankalaev, gone. I like them all. What's up, Alex? Let's get it. Thanks for the donation. Really appreciate that. What's up, James? I agree. Last week, the Apex did deliver. It was crazy. So many finishes. Watching from Australia. Love the breakdowns. Appreciate that a ton. Let's get it. Let's make some money. I agree. Okay, so some things I want to point out before we get started. As always, want to shout out the sponsor, Pub Sports Radio. If you guys can do me a favor, I put in the description the link for Pub Sports Radio Live. Go ahead over there, subscribe. We're going to be going live for the fights tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I believe that's when they start. I did make an appearance last week, and I may or may not be making an appearance this week. So go ahead over there. It's in the description. And then I'm also going to be going live before the fights, an hour live before the fights, like at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, on Karma Media, kind of like a live before lock, answer any final questions. So I also put that in the description. So if you guys want to hang out like an hour before the fights, talk some fights for like an hour, then the link will be in the description there below. Rivera didn't look great at weigh-ins. I thought everybody looked pretty solid at weigh-ins. Nothing really stuck out to me there. Hey, Brady, let's rock it again. Awesome job after week. Appreciate that. What do you think about Grishin missing weight? We'll talk about that. It could have been intentional because he looked pretty solid. Join the Patreon channel for anyone who hasn't joined. Appreciate that, Mac. One of the best handicappers in the biz. Appreciate that. All right, so yeah, we're going to get started here. We have 10 fights to break down. Like I said, we already lost 2, and honestly, 2 of the most exciting fights. The card as a whole, I think there's some good fights on it. I love the main event. I love the co-main event. Other than that, Rivera Munhoz should be fun. The Croom fight should be fun. It's not much. There's not much, but still another opportunity to make some money. So before we get into it, if you can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet. Let's try to get 150 likes by the time we get out of here. We were able to hit that goal last week. Let's try to hit it again. And then subscribe. I think we're 180 away from 10K. So almost there. Trying to reach that goal, hopefully by UFC 259. All right. So Dustin Jacoby versus Maxime Grishin. Jacoby opened up -165, currently sitting at -165. Grishin opened up +135, currently at +155. Yeah, so Grishin did miss weight. I want to say he was the only fighter that missed weight, and he looked decent. I think it might have been one of those intentional weight misses, kind of like we talked about the Jared Gordon last week, where Jared Gordon missed weight by a good 4-something pounds and went out there and looked fantastic. And it kind of worries me here in this matchup because the one thing I was worried about for Grishin is, Grishin taking Jacoby down or maybe grinding him up against the cage, and that extra weight could definitely help with that game plan. But ultimately, I have no play here. I still lean to the Jacoby side just because I think that There's going to be a huge difference in the striking, a huge difference in the speed. And I really like what Jacoby brings, but I have a feeling that Grishin might try to make this a boring fight, grind him against the cage so Jacoby can't use that speed, that striking. So definitely a pass here for me. I do lean on the Jacoby side. As far as a DraftKings standpoint, first fight of the night, last week, the first fight of the night was the Sergey Spivak and Jared Vandera. Kind of talked about how that was going to be important. This one, I don't know. I like Jacoby a little bit. On the Grishin side, I don't really like it. If anything, I'm going to have some Jacoby, but I'm not going to have like a crazy amount. But I do think he can rack up a lot of volume. It's just, can he get that finish or not? Grishin has been finished 3 times by knockout, 3 times by submission. So I think it's possible, but I like Dustin Jacoby to get it done. I want to say by decision, but I do think there is some upside for a knockout there. So who do you guys like in this fight? Anybody taking the shot on Grishin? I see lots of Jacoby love, not really much Grishin love, but it should be a kind of a close fight. All right, Rosen looked like a baby. Ankalaev, Krylov over 1.5. We'll talk about that soon. Grishin looked terrified. Who is with me on Rosen? I think there's a lot of people with you there. What's up, Super Look? What's up, Brady? Longtime Patreon here. Really appreciate that for the support. Dustin Jacoby could have a finish. He could. I think if there's a finish on either side, I think it's going to come from the Jacoby side. You're a good dude, Brady. Spoink, Washington. Spoikon, Washington supports you. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Thank you, Aaron. Really appreciate the dono. Give me Grishin. I switched from Jacoby last moment. First fight, Grishin versus Jacoby. I see a KO. So you see a KO from the Grishin side, maybe. If it does happen, maybe it's late. Maybe Jacoby does slow down. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of worried about. Grishin going to kind of just smother him, especially with that 5 extra pounds of weight. Something I really don't want to put my money on. Jacoby will win it. Jacoby all day. TKO him by... Yeah, he has some nasty calf kicks. Gone by sub or decision plus 260. Grishin by boring decision. I took Grishin. I'm an underdog guy. Ronnie Lawrence feels like one of the safer players in the card. Yeah, it could be. Spokane. There you go. So has anyone gone Rosenstruck's heights wrong, or has Gone hit puberty again? Yeah, those heights are wrong. Gone looked a good 2 inches bigger than Rosenstruck today. It could be. Easy pass. Yeah, definitely a pass on this fight. So yeah, no action for me. If anything, I'll have a little bit of Jacoby on DraftKings, and it's kind of a weird DraftKings slate. Only 10 fights on the card. We're completely missing the 7.9K range to 8.3. So we're missing that kind of mid-range there. So definitely a weird card for DraftKings. Completely opposite of last week where there was finish after finish and crazy DraftKings scores. I see a lot lower DraftKings scores this week. All right, next we have a pretty interesting fight here. We have Ronnie Lawrence versus Vince Cachero, and kind of a really low-level fight. And we'll take a look at their records. Ronnie Lawrence is 6-1, and Vince Cachero is 7-3, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So not much experience from either guy here. And I think it's just a good stylistic matchup for Ronnie Lawrence. And he's somebody that on the Dana White's Contender Series went out there and got 11 or 12 takedowns. And Cachero has struggled with that takedown defense, not just against Jamal Emmers, but on the regional scene, he's been taken down quite a bit as well. So I do think on the feet, it's actually kind of close. I do got to favor Cachero there, but with the wrestling of Lawrence, I do think he can take him down a decent amount of times and then pick up a decision win here. Yeah, no bet for me. I mean, this is a little bit too low level here. I don't really want to touch either guy. Lawrence making his UFC debut here. We saw Cachero get beat by Emmers. I'm going to side with Lawrence. I guess the line could be a little bit closer, but I do think it's a good stylistic matchup for him. But on DraftKings is where I have my interest. Lawrence sitting at 8,500, I believe. He's going to go out there. He's going to get a lot of takedowns, a lot of top control. And I've been talking about it week after week. The new DraftKings scoring system is going to favor, the wrestlers, the grapplers. So I think Ronnie Lawrence at that price is a pretty solid play. And like I said, there really isn't much on the DraftKings side with only 10 fights. So he's actually 8,600. So yeah, Ronnie Lawrence, 8,600. I don't hate it for the takedown upside, the control time upside. Outside of that, could Cachero knock him out? I don't really think so. Lawrence has never been knocked out. But I'm going to take Ronnie Lawrence to win by decision and probably put up a decent DraftKings score there. Yeah, I'm with you. I see a lot of decisions as well. I think maybe only like, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 decisions is really not going to be much. Yeah, he definitely looks like 6'1". Munhoz is, oh yeah, that's right. Lawrence out wrestles him for the decision or late round TKO sub. Yeah, I'd like a late finish. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to win a decision if he's if he's on his back. He's going to have to stuff a lot of takedowns. He's not going to sub him. So yeah, I think if he has to win, it's going to be by KO. This could easily be the highest DraftKings scoring fight of the night. It could be, especially on the Lawrence side if he is going out there and getting takedowns. An underdog will cash within the first 3 or 4 bouts, leaning Alexis. Could happen. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, he's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Yeah, I'm with you there. The wrestling, I think, is going to be a big difference. It seems to me Gone. It doesn't really hit that hard for how he looks. Am I seeing it or what? Yeah, that's the narrative. That's the narrative for the week. Same to me. I don't know much about these fighters. Who are they? Check their records. I have a slight edge on Lawrence. Might be a KO. Don't know. I mean, yeah, Lawrence is a really good wrestler. Cachero is going to want to keep this on the feet. If not, he probably loses there. Safe bet on the over 1.5 rounds. I'd say so. Lawrence round 3 KO at plus 1800. I don't know either, but Lawrence rides with ATT, and that's good enough for me. There you go. There you go. All right. So, yeah, like I said, I like Lawrence quite a bit on DraftKings at 8,600. Other than that, no bet for me. And the crazy thing is I have no bets up until the main card, which it's not going to take that long to get there because we only have 10 fights, but still no bets for me until the main card. But now we have an interesting fight. Sabina Mazzo versus Alexis Davis. Mazzo opened up minus 265. Alexis Davis opened up plus 205. Mazzo is currently sitting at minus 190. And Alexis Davis currently sitting at plus 175. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, it's probably on the dog or pass side for me. I really don't want to lay minus 200 for Mazzo in a fight that I feel like could be close. And I actually probably would pick Alexis Davis outright if she just used her wrestling a little bit more. Like going back, she doesn't really use it as much as she should. And in this fight, she really should go out there and use her wrestling. I mean, she averages 0.74 takedowns per 15 minutes with only a 33% accuracy. But yeah, if she's able to get this fight down to the mat, I do think she can have a lot of success. But on the feet, and this is why I'm kind of taking the Mazzo side, it's going to be Mazzo all day. She's going to be the much faster fighter, the better striker on the feet. And Alexis Davis is somebody that really wears damage. Like, she cuts open very easily. The judges are definitely going to see that. If anything, from a DraftKings standpoint, I guess I'll take the Alexis Davis at 7,300. I don't really see Mazzo getting a finish here, maybe a late finish. But if anything, I'm taking the Alexis Davis side on DraftKings at 7,300, getting a nice savings on there. Just because if she does win, it's going to be because of her wrestling. It's going to be because of her grappling. And I don't necessarily see a sub, but I could see her controlling Mazzo for periods of time. And that's really her path to victory. So if anything, I'm going to play some Davis on DraftKings. As far as Mazzo on DraftKings, no thank you. I'm not paying $8,900 for her. And from a betting standpoint, it probably is dog or pass, but I really don't want to lay my money on this fight. Alexis Davis, if you're on the Alexis Davis side, you got submission plus 1,090. I mean, she is a black belt. Mazzo's never been sub before, but she is a black belt, so maybe she could submit Mazzo. That's kind of a crazy line there. But I think the more than likely thing, if Alexis Davis does win, it's going to be by decision, which is plus 250. But yeah, it's not something I really want to lay my money on. But I'm gonna pick Mazzo just because I do think it stays on the feet. But Alexis Davis really should consider coming in here with a game plan of taking it down to the mat. And at that point, she could probably pull it off. But it's just not something I've seen her do as much as I'd like. So give me Mazzo. Anybody taking the shot on the dog? I've seen some love for Davis. I really don't hate it. It's definitely dog or pass if I was to bet this either way. All right, let's see here. Mazzo was getting dominated by Kish. Yes, she was losing that fight until she got the head kick. Yeah, I think she's live too. I really do. I think this fight should be lined a little bit closer. Facts. And the line is coming down indeed. Never count out Davis. I'm going with Davis. Once again, with that is a changed pick. At least Davis had better competition despite the record. Yeah, much better competition. Like, it's not even close. And she did look good on the scales. Good point there. Yeah, so I do think she's a live dog. Do I want to bet it personally? Probably not, but I do think she's live. What's the likelihood that this really finishes? Maybe Mazzo head kick. I think it goes to decision. Outside of maybe a late Mazzo finish or maybe like a submission from Davis, but it probably does go to decision. Let's see here. Alexis Davis constantly moves forward. That is true. In the small cage, there might not be enough room for Mazzo to work her superior striking game. The value's on Davis, the veteran. I agree. I think the value's on her for sure. Davis and Rivera parlay for me. Probably get good odds there. Mazzo by murder. Wow. Mazzo going to light her up. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't want to lay the minus 200. Gone by submission plus 500 is good value in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of money's coming in on that gone submission prop. I see it at plus 375 now. Women MMA is a pass. I actually have a women's MMA bet. What did Croom drop at face-offs? He dropped something. I want to say, I remember what he said it was, but I forget what it was. But he did drop something. Sabina Monzo has no chin. If she doesn't really have to worry about that here. Literally has no chin. Remember Zahabi, who's a Canadian just like Davis, got the upset last week, who also had a long layoff. Yeah, that Zahabi knockout was crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever. That's right. He dropped his comb. There you go. Dropped his comb. Just don't bet women's MMA. It's simple. Hey, there can be some good spots sometimes. All right, so we'll get into the next fight. Yeah, like I said with that one, if anything on DraftKings, I'll play some Davis. If I was to bet it, I'd probably take a shot on Davis, but I really don't want to put my money on that fight. All right, this fight should be exciting. We have Alexander Hernandez versus Thiago Moises. Hernandez opened up minus 245, currently sitting at minus 220. Moises opened up plus 185, currently sitting at plus 200. Yeah, kind of a tough fight here. I do think the line's a little bit too wide. We've seen Alexander Hernandez come out there. He's a young guy himself, making some improvements, but a lot of people aren't talking about how young Moises is and how good he's been looking as of late. He went out there and beat Bobby Green, and of course, I had a bet on Bobby Green. I had a bet on Bobby Green by decision. I thought I had it, but they gave Moises the nod there. But still, he made a lot of improvements. His striking looked better. His wrestling looked better, and this guy is getting better and better each time we see him. So I actually think this is going to be close. I'll be honest, I'm not overly impressed with Hernandez just in his entire career. I only went out there and got that KO over Dariush. But other than that, he's somebody that does slow down as the fight goes on. Maybe he's a little bit on the chinny side. He's been knocked out twice. The cardio is very poor there. Moises is going to have a cardio advantage. But on the feet, it's really Hernandez all day. I'm just interested to see what happens if this fight does hit the mat. And like I said, Moises is training at a very good camp. I do think if he does get this down to the mat, he could impose some problems on Hernandez, or at least make this a grimy fight, take it into the later rounds, because Hernandez does slow down. So I'm going to pick Moises just because I think the line's way off. I'm not going to bet it. I see a ton of love for Hernandez. I get it. He's going to have a massive striking advantage. I'm just curious to see what happens if this does touch the mat or if this does get extended. But I'm going to take a shot on the dog here in Moises. So as far as DraftKings go, I like the Moises side on DraftKings a little bit just because if I think he wins, it's going to be because maybe he finds a finish. Maybe it's because of his wrestling grappling. I think it's going to get some points. 7,500 is a really good price. If Hernandez wins, I don't necessarily see him knocking out Moises. Moises actually has a really good chin. So I see Hernandez going out there winning like a 15-minute striking fight, which was probably doesn't score well, especially with the new scoring system going from 0.5 to 0.4 in significant strikes. So if anything on DraftKings, probably Moises' side. Could Hernandez get a finish? Maybe. It's just Moises is very durable. So I'm going to take a shot on Moises here. Not feeling too confident on it. I don't have a bet on it and everything, but I do think that he's going to have the cardio advantage. And if it does hit the mat, I do think he can have some success down there, as he has a very good black belt. And like I said, that wrestling is improving a lot. So hopefully he does get down to the mat. I do think he's very live. But yeah, the minus 220 on Hernandez just seems a little bit wide to me. All right. Fight of the night. Yeah, it could be. My pick for fight of the night is going to be maybe the Caceres Croom. I think that's going to be fun. Or the main event, or the co-main event, actually. Over minus 200 is way too high for Hernandez. If he doesn't get the KO, he's going to gas out hard. Moises kind of sucks, though. Yeah, Moises does kind of suck, but he is getting better. And yeah, minus 200 is crazy. This will go to a split decision. I can see it. I think Hernandez is still improving. Yes, he is, and wins by decision. I could see it. And Moises kind of sucks, though. Hernandez makes me nervous. I mean, like, what happens if this fight does get into the later rounds? The dude's gas tank isn't there. The chin's not there. Kind of sketchy, especially minus 220. Not betting that fight. Good idea. Hernandez is gonna think he can wrestle Moises. I hope he doesn't think that. That's not a good idea. Taking him down. Moises should have been better than he is. He hasn't really proven anything. Yeah, not really. I mean, he subbed Michael Johnson. He got a kind of questionable decision over Bobby Green. I'm with you on Moises. I just really think this fighter improvements. Yeah, he's making great improvements. He has great fight IQ. That's true. I don't trust Hernandez. Yeah, I don't trust Hernandez at all, and especially at minus 220. Yeah, but that's Grutzmacher, though. That's Grutzmacher. And Grutzmacher was coming off like a big layoff as well. Hernandez looked like the much bigger athlete overall. Yeah, and that was kind of surprising because Moises is a big dude. Hernandez is a strong grappler. I think you're being harsh on him. Hernandez should win. Yeah, he's a strong grappler, but I don't recommend grappling with Moises. I like Moises as well. Fight of the night, no way. Over 2.5, probably. Let's see here. Moises looked improved on the feet versus Green. The Johnson fight was a bad look. Yeah, that was a bad look. That was a really bad look. He landed like one strike in that fight. People only dislike Moises as he keeps killing their bets. Yeah, he killed my green bet. He really did. I will probably be on Moises. Still haven't decided yet. Croom first round. I hope so. We'll talk about that next. Green has better striking than Hernandez. If anyone bets on Moises, they deserve to have their bet ruined. I don't trust Hernandez, but talking of Michael Johnson. Yeah, so no bet for me here. I would never lay minus 200 on Alexander Hernandez. I do think this fight's going to play out closer than the line indicates, no matter who wins. But just can't bet it either way there. All right, guys, we have 181 here. If you guys can hit the like button, would really appreciate that. Let's try to get to 150 by the time we get out of here. We have not long to go. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights left. And then also subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm going to be getting out the betting breakdown video early Saturday morning. I'll be recording this right after that, and then I'm going to maybe go live on Pub Sports Radio for at least the prelims tomorrow. So go ahead over there, hit the subscribe button, and then I'm going to be doing like a live before lock on Karma Media. So head over there tomorrow. So if the lock is at 6, we'll probably be going live at 5. So lots of stuff going on tomorrow, and really looking forward to this card. But I'm really looking forward to next card, which is 50 times better than this one. I mean, UFC 259 is crazy, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's a crazy card. It's a crazy card next week. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm about to start looking into it tonight. So next we have, this is a fight I do think could be fight of the night just because of the style that Kevin Croom brings. And he's somebody that came in there with his UFC debut. I want to say he closed at something crazy like minus or like plus 450, like plus 500 almost, against Roosevelt Roberts. Everybody was throwing Roberts into their parlays, and I wasn't doing that or nothing, but I did have a lot of Roberts on DraftKings. But Croom came in there. He pressed forward. He clipped Roosevelt Roberts and then ended up submitting him shortly after. And I don't know. I feel like this line's off right where it is, and I feel like it's been off throughout the week. But what kind of scares me is everybody seems to be on Croom. I don't really see that many people taking the Caceres side. And I mean, I get it. Like, why would Caceres be this big of a favorite? And Croom, I just think, is going to present a lot of problems for Alex Caceres here. Croom's going to be somebody that's going to be coming forward, especially in the small cage. I do think that favors the Croom side here. Caceres is going to want to stay on the outside and kind of pick apart Croom. Croom's not going to give him any room to breathe. He's going to be coming forward, throwing hard shots, looking for the takedown. And he's not the best wrestler in the world. If he actually had some decent wrestling, I probably would have went a little bit harder on this bet, but the wrestling's not great, I'll be honest, but he is relentless with it, which is something I like to see. He is able to take the back standing. I saw that Chase Hooper was able to take Caceres' back standing, wasn't able to do anything with it. Jason Knight was able to take Caceres' back standing, was able to eventually choke him out. So yeah, I think Croom has multiple paths to victory, whether it is coming in here, maybe hurting Caceres on the feet, because he does throw some bombs. Or even if he does get this down to the mat, at that point, I really do think he's live for a submission. Caceres has been submitted 6 times. I want to say he's a black belt, but sometimes I really question that because he gives up positions so easily. He allows guys to take their backs, and he gets submitted pretty easily at times. Croom has been finished, though, himself 5 times out of 12 losses, 3 by submission, 2 by KO. And I will say, when he does go for takedowns, he does leave his neck really exposed. So Caceres is definitely live for a sub here, but I do have 2 plays on this fight. So the first one I got, this was my very first bet of the card. I got Kevin Croom at plus 210. I put 1 unit on that. The line is currently at plus 165. I still think there's value on that. I honestly, if I was to set this line, I'd probably put it at a pick'em. And, a lot of people are talking about the experience of Alex Caceres. Yes, he's fought the better competition, but Croom actually has more fights than him, which is pretty crazy to think about. So I do have Croom as a straight play. I think the line's off. I'll take the plus 210 all day. And then I do have the fight under 2.5 rounds at plus 170, and I have 1 unit on that as well. So 2 bets. If Croom wins this fight under 2.5 rounds, it's going to be a massive night. But at least, hopefully, one of those things happen, because I also saw a path to victory where Caceres could maybe snatch up a neck because Croom does leave his neck exposed. But Croom's going to make this a fun fight. He said it himself. This fight's not going to decision. He's going to come in here and try to get that early finish. So I do think there's potential for hopefully both of those to hit. But yeah, hopefully at least one of them hit. That's profit right there between the two. But yeah, the under 2.5 rounds plus 170, I think that's a good deal, especially, considering the style of Kevin Croom and what he's going to bring to this fight. As far as DraftKings go, I think this is a very important fight for DraftKings. I think it's one of the more important fights on the slate, especially on a 10-fight slate. So Croom at 7,400 is going to be probably, I want to say he's going to be the first or second highest owned dog on the slate. I think it's between him and Rosenstruck. If Croom wins, it's going to be because he's throwing a ton of volume. He's going out there maybe getting takedowns, getting a control time, and probably finding a finish as well. But if Caceres wins, I don't know. It's hard to see him. I think if he wins, it's probably by decision, but I could also see a situation where Croom does make a mistake on the mat and he does get submitted himself. Like I said, he does leave his neck exposed. So I'm going to have a ton of Croom. I really am. But I will have some Caceres at 8,800 because I remember a couple fights ago for Caceres against Chase Hooper, nobody played Caceres. He was sitting at like 7,700. He was like 10% owned, and that's what won me a tournament. Just playing a little bit of Alex Caceres because nobody likes playing this guy, and I understand it, but I do think Croom can present a style where if Caceres does win, it could be maybe inside the distance here. So I will be having some shares of a very, very low-owned Alex Caceres, but the majority of my lineups are going to have some Kevin Croom. But yeah, not going to go too all in on this fight on DraftKings, but it is a 10-fight slate. There really isn't much, but I do think this fight scores well as a whole. But I do have those 2 bets. Going to be very invested in invested in the betting, very invested in the DraftKings, and I think this is one of the more exciting fights on the night. So give me Kevin Croom. Hopefully, he gets it done. If he wins inside the distance, it's going to be a pretty massive night there. Fire of the night, I can definitely see it. Prediction: Croom pressures Caceres and knocks him out. That would be sweet. Caceres does hate being pressured. You're right. Croom's going to be the casual chalk. Thanks for calling me a casual. I'll fade him for leverage and single entry. Croom is about to send Bruce Leroy to Heaven's Gate. I sure hope so. Once again, a great example of improvements. I remember Caceres having such a bad time in the UFC, but this fighter is getting better. Fight IQ. I'm with Caceres. Yeah, but look who he's been fighting. Chase Hooper, Chase Hooper has non-existent striking, non-existent power on the feet, non-existent striking defense, non-existent takedowns. So if he can't get you down the mat, he's not going to do nothing. So, and other than that, Austin Springer, which, not a great look there. But yeah, he hasn't been looking good, but got to look at who he's been facing. Let's see here. Afro parlay is the way to go. Probably plus money there. Lee is not good with pressure. You're right. Leroy. Caceres definitely loses every time he faces good competition. You're right. I agree. The guy's so likable. Very hard to root against him. Bruce Leroy is not good. If you go back and watch Croom's old fights, he was mostly winning trying to get finish fights, but to get to the UFC and lost going overboard. He made it here now. He wants to stay, in my opinion. He definitely wants to stay. He's very motivated. Croom has legit momentum. Caceres isn't impressive in any one aspect of MMA. Let's see here. In the sub prop. No, I mean, I'm fine with the plus 210 I got. I don't really want to dig into the props because I think he can maybe hurt him on the feet as well. But the sub prop is probably something crazy. Croom by submission plus 385. Might as well just take him straight at that point. Caceres by submission plus 620. That's not bad. It sounds like no one is going for Caceres. So why is such a big favorite? Do the bookies know something we don't? I mean, the line is coming down a little bit. Listening to Caceres talk, he is more concerned on tending to his freaking garden than winning a fight. Yeah, if we're looking at the interviews, I think that Croom is definitely more motivated here. Recency bias. Caceres by decision. Prefer the sub, or I just play him straight if anything. Sorry I'm late. Thanks again, Big B. What's up, Rumble? Casuals will back the veteran on a winning streak. Wow, hot take here. Yoder is the pick of the night. All right. See, people think Caceres is improving by fighting cans is why the bookies have him as a favorite. Could be. Croom would kill Hooper. I think so too. I think he would knock him out. What's up, Thomas? Finally caught you live. Love your content. Appreciate that. Fight under 0.5 rounds. Can you bet this in the USA? Maybe. I don't know if any of my books have that prop. Brady is truly our DFS pal. Appreciate that, Mac. Under 2.5 Croom fight and Krylov to win. That's probably some crazy odds there. And I'm not trolling this time. Usually Rip Wins MMA, but picking Yoder. Who was the dude that was all over Arlovsky talking about placing a max bet like 10K on Arlovsky last week? That was funny. Wonder where that dude is. If you're in here, let me know. But yeah, so getting into the next fight. And yeah, I mean, it's tough because I really want nothing to do with this fight on Draftkings. But it's a 10-fight slate, so maybe I'll have a little bit of it. We have Angela Hill sitting at a massive 9,200. Ashley Yoder sitting at 7,000. I know we saw John in there, all in on the Yoder side. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's a bad matchup for her. I think Angela Hill is going to have a massive, massive striking advantage. We can take a look at some of the numbers. Just look at the amount of output that Hill throws and lands compared to Yoder. I mean, that's double. But I do think this fight is going to be, playing out primarily on the feet. If this fight was like a couple of years ago, maybe I'd take a look at Yoder. But Angela Hill has shown massive improvements in the takedown defense. She went out there, stuffed a ton of takedowns from Michelle Watterson. She went out there and stuffed a ton of takedowns or a couple takedowns from Claudia Gadelia. But if Yoder does not get this fight down to the mat, she's going to lose. So do I think she does get it down to the mat? Probably not. But am I willing to pay, what is it, Hill, like minus 365? On some books, Hill's like minus 400, minus 450. No, that's not smart at all. So yeah, this is the biggest pass on the card just because of where the line's at. If you're parlaying Angela Hill, I recommend not doing that. I mean, she's somebody that, what is her record? Like 12-9? Yeah, 12-9. Her record's 12-9. I mean, she's almost a 50-50 fighter. The majority of her fights are very close. Yes, this is a great matchup, but should you be laying 4-1? No, you should not be laying minus 400 on Angela Hill there. So yeah, give me Hill by decision. 9,200 though. I mean, she's not going to go out here and get takedowns. She's not going to go out here and get top control. She's more than likely not going to get a finish. If she does, it's probably not early. For her to hit optimal here, she probably needs like a first round knockout, maybe a second round knockout. But it probably goes to decision. Maybe I'll throw a little bit of Hill. As far as Yoder, I don't know, because if she does not get this fight down to the match, she's going to lose. I mean, it's clear as day. But yeah, this is definitely a fight I'm going to have very little exposure to on DraftKings, and no chance I'm betting this fight. I don't want to look at the props. Like Hill by decision is probably how she wins, minus 175. There's just no point in playing that. Yeah, no parlays for me on this card. Definitely no parlays for me on this card. But yeah, give me Hill. I saw some people on the Yoder side. I guess. I mean, if you're looking for a dog with a decent price there, I just wouldn't do it personally. Wasn't that Sleaze Nation? I'm not completely sure. Max 100,000 on Hill. I wouldn't recommend that. MMA Locker Room was on Yoder too. Really? The big dog. Okay. Croom sub. I hope Angie should win that record though. Yeah. Yes, she did. She beat her a couple years ago. That's true. I like the Krylov over 1.5 rounds. We'll talk about that soon. Yoder is much bigger. It's just I don't know if she can get the fight down to the mat. That's the big thing for me. I don't know if she has the wrestling to do that. The underwater training looks to have Yoder strong right now. Never seen her looking so muscular. Yeah, yeah, it's just a tough ask there. This is a pass for DraftKings. I will put a half unit on Yoder by decision at plus 500. Okay. No way I'd trust Till with my money against anyone at minus 400. No chance. I agree. I 100% agree. It will box her up and lose a decision. It could happen. Vegas judges are garbage. Pretty much, yeah. Yep. 2021, I believe you meant to say, is the year of the dog. Yes, it is. I think they said like 40% of dogs are winning, which is insane. But yeah, 2021 is the year of the dog. Sprinkle on fight doesn't go to decision plus 240. Possibly. Yoder can't keep up with Angela's cardio. I don't think so personally either. Can I max bet Ankalaev 10K? No. No, I wouldn't max bet anybody on this card, honestly. With a decent price, yeah. Yes, she did. Yeah, she just needs to keep this standing. You're right. I do think she does, but I just don't want to lay minus 400. Yoder did well getting the fight to the ground in their first match. She just couldn't keep it there. Yeah, especially now. Like, I think Hill's made massive improvements since then. So I don't really see her getting taken down. Plus 550, Yoder by decision is value. 2 takedowns will get it done. It could be, yeah. Could be. But just not something I want to put my money on. But yeah, plus 500 is pretty interesting there. So getting into the next fight here, we have a pretty good one. We have Pedro Munhoz versus Jimmy Rivera 2, the rematch. And I'll say right now on DraftKings, I want nothing to do with this fight. I know it's a 10-fight slate, but Rivera, just taking a look at some of his numbers on the props here, Rivera inside the distance plus 700, which is the second worst on the slate, right behind Alexis Davis. Rivera by knockout plus 1040, by submission plus 1550. It's safe to say if Rivera wins this fight, it's going to be by decision. He's going to come out here. He's going to not go for takedowns, not get control time, unless he holds up Munhoz against the cage a little bit. But I just see if Rivera wins, he's not going to score well whatsoever. I mean, this is somebody that, especially with the new drafting scoring system, taking those significant strikes, going from 0.5 now to 0.4. If he wins, it's not going to score well. But if Pedro Munhoz wins, I think it's going to be a finish. So if anything on the DraftKings side, I'd play some Munhoz, if anything. But really, I really don't want anything to do with this fight for the most part. I do think it's going to gain some ownership just because of the name value. A lot of people know who your Jimmy Rivera's are, your Pedro Munhoz's are. So I'm going to be very low owned on this fight just because I do think it goes to decision. And at that point, either guy probably doesn't score well. So the thing with Rivera, what I like about him is that takedown defense at 92%. Literally like one of the best takedown defenses I've seen. So hard to take this guy down. And if you do get him down, you're not holding him down for long. So I don't think Rivera has to worry about the ground game here from Munhoz. And on the feet, another thing I noticed was in the majority of Munhoz's fights, he's getting outstruck. This dude is so hittable. You see it right there. He absorbs 6.03 significant strikes per minute with a 58% strike in defense. I mean, the dude is there to be hit. But yeah, I like Rivera here. I like Rivera here quite a bit. I think he's going to be throwing the more volume. I think he keeps his fight on the feet, and I just see him winning a decision. So minus 150 is not awful. If you do want to take a look at the prop by decision, minus 105, because that's honestly how he's going to win. I'd be really shocked if he was the first person to knock out Pedro Munhoz. If you are on the Munhoz side, Munhoz by decision plus 340 is probably the way I'd look. Munhoz by KO plus 585. The thing is, like, Rivera's very durable. He's only been knocked out once in like 27 fights, and that was by Marlon Moraes. No shame in that. Munhoz by submission plus 675. I just don't see it happening. I really don't, because Rivera is going to keep this standing. Obviously, Rivera's not going to shoot for takedowns, so he's not going to have to worry about that guillotine. So, yeah, give me Rivera here, and I do have 2 bets on this fight. So I have Jimmy Rivera straight minus 145. I have 1.5 units on it. And then I got this gem. So shout out to Wheezy. I don't know if you're in here, Wheezy, in the Discord, but Wheezy put out the DraftKings Sportsbook made a very big mistake. They put that Rivera wins by decision at plus 275. So I went ahead and took that. I tried to get it out there on Twitter. I tried to get it out there on Patreon as well. But I put half on that, plus 275. Rivera wins by decision. Just a mistake made by the DraftKings Sportsbook. So shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook for that. And that's not the only mistake they made. They made a mistake a couple weeks ago with the believe it was the Zalal and Choi fight. They put the over 2.5 at like -110. Everywhere else, it was like -170, -180. So they have made mistakes before, and they did not void that bet. So hopefully they don't void the decision prop there. So that's awesome. If Rivera wins this fight and wins by decision, going to be rolling on the night. So give me Rivera here. As far as DraftKings, no interest, but I do like Rivera to win, and I like him to win by decision. The only thing that kind of scares me is it seems like the majority of people out there are on the Rivera side, and the line just kind of staying where it is. So give me Rivera here, and hopefully he does win, and hopefully he does win by decision. All right, is anybody taking a shot on Munhoz? I think if Munhoz wins, it's going to have to be by a finish. It's really hard to see him winning a decision against Rivera because Rivera is a very good round winner, and Munhoz, not the best round winner. Rivera by decision. Hill was supposed to beat Gadelia too. I mean, I thought she won that fight. What was your last max bet? I think it was Alexander Volkanovski against Max Holloway was my last max bet. I think that was it. I thought Max won that, but I'll take it. Me all day. I hope so. I got Rivera on this one. Not betting it though. I see people saying that the glasses that Rivera was wearing is a red flag. How's wearing glasses a red flag? I don't get that, but maybe. But someone also said a couple weeks ago that not looking at somebody was a red flag, and it ended up happening. So that kind of scares me. But I mean, wearing glasses shouldn't, hurt him in the fight. You wouldn't think. I mean, it's just wearing glasses. I hate to play MMA math here, but Munhoz arguably beat Frankie, who is the king of what Jimmy is good at. Yeah, but Frankie's like 39, dude. Frankie's 39. Jimmy's in his prime. Jimmy's 29 years old. Rivera for the win, but this time for a finish. I mean, hopefully for my bet's sake, it's not a finish, but I wouldn't mind seeing that. I could see a finish. Yeah, the thing is just Munhoz is so durable. Never been knocked out. You guys need to join Brady's Patreon and get in his Discord and chat room. That's where the Rivera decision mistake on DraftKings was at. Plus 275 tip was dropped. Yeah, no, shout out to Wheezy, but yeah, I tried to get that out there as well. Those calf kicks are going to crush Rivera. Hope not. Snipe that plus 275 mistake on DraftKings. They published the line backwards for Jimmy by decision. Yes, they did. And they have not voided it yet, so hopefully they don't void it. Rivera's probably the best parlay. Could be. I mean, he's one of my more confident picks on the slate. All Joe and Munhoz were both 0 for 7 on takedowns against Rivera. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, Rivera's takedown defense is like legit. Rivera's going to KO him bad. You guys are making me feel bad about my decision prop there, but kind of be surprised. But I do think that it's going to be a decision. The name is Wheezy. Is a play on the last name. Oh, I like it. What's up, Wheezy? How you doing? How would Yoder win if she does? I don't know. Taking down Hill, controlling her. Maybe finding a submission. FanDuel will make mistakes during live betting from time to time. It's worth taking a look. Yeah, FanDuel Sportsbook does make some mistakes. Shout out to them. I'm going to call you by your government in the Discord now, Wheezy. Croom or over Leroy? I hope so. What's up, Wheezy? Is Clint in here? I'm not sure. Clint, are you in here? Shout out to Clint. Wesley, what's up, Brady? Never catch the live stream. Well, glad you got to catch it here. Is your max 5 units? Yes, sir. All right. That's that Clint analysis. I like it. Yeah, Clint's crazy with those post weigh-in shows. Like he called that I forget what it was, Fluffy Hernandez. Like it was crazy. Vieira was not looking at him, so he went out there and put a play on Fluffy, and he gets those. So yeah, kind of concerning there, but yeah, those post weigh-in reads are just insane. Like he says, like one time, like he stepped off the scale and drank water right away. I mean, Clint just finds these things that nobody else thinks of. They're awesome. Rodolfo Vieira, yeah, don't really want to talk about that dude. Going to laugh my A off when Rivera gets knocked out. Hope not. I had a unit on Pedro. This fight got rebooked, and I feel like my unit got saved. Yeah, I bet like Rivera last time as well. Rivera 29-28. I see it. Someone will link me the cord. The cord is in the description on the Patreon. What's up, Brady? Gone getting it done. I hope so. Munhoz second round TKO. Any bloke who's fumbling around with a comb at weigh-ins, max bet the other dude. It happens. What was your reaction when Rodolfo gassed so quick? I mean, I was kind of in a moment of shock, you could say, and I was in shock for the next like 5, 6, 7 days as well. Like, how do you get tired after what was it, a minute and a half, 2 minutes? So yeah, my reaction was probably a little bit of shock going on there, especially after the submission happened. Any parlays this week, Big Ring? No parlays. 2021 has been the year of killing parlays, but no parlays for me. I don't really feel comfortable with parlaying any two fighters up. And I actually have a couple bets on some underdogs as well, so don't really want to parlay dogs. Not something I like doing. All right, so 46 minutes here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 more fights. If you guys can hit the like button, we have 235 in here. And also hit the subscribe button almost to that 10K mark. Really hoping you get there by the big card next week. All right, so like I said, I have Rivera by decision. I have Rivera straight, so really need Jim Rivera to get it done. Next, we have Bueno Silva versus Montana De La Rosa. Very interesting fight here. So Montana De La Rosa is somebody that has been training at Team Elevation for the past couple fights. I think she started there like 2 fights ago maybe, but ever since then, like she's been making some really big improvements, and we saw in her last fight against Viviana Ruja, her hands looked a lot better, and of course she got pieced up for the majority of the fight. Ruja was landing the harder shots, but going back and look at the numbers, I was kind of surprised that it said Montana De La Rosa actually landed more significant strikes than Viviana Ruja. And the thing with this fight is, I think that the striking is very close. A lot of people give the striking advantage to Bueno Silva. It's just she is so hittable. She's flat-footed, she's slow, she's hittable. And De La Rosa has been making those improvements, and I expect those improvements to keep coming on because she's so young. 26 years old, training at a good camp, a lot of great training partners. And Bueno Silva, just taking a look at some of the numbers, look how much she gets hit so far in the UFC. I want to say in like 3 or 4 fights, she's absorbing 6.74 significant strikes per minute with a 44% striking defense. And sure, De La Rosa's numbers aren't great at all, to say the least, but that's just not a good look. So I think the striking's close, but I think this fight's going to be won and lost on the mat. And at that point, Montana De La Rosa, a very good wrestler. She's going to have a massive wrestling advantage in this fight. Bueno Silva on paper has like a 71% takedown defense, but she can be taken down easily. It's happened time and time again so far in the UFC. And really, outside of an armbar from guard, I actually like Montana De La Rosa to get this win, believe it or not. But it is women's MMA. If there was to be an armbar from guard happen on any of these fights, it's going to be this one. But you're telling me that I think Bueno Silva's most likely path to victory is that armbar from guard. Do I really think she should be like minus 130 because of that? No, I don't. I think this line should either be flipped or at least a pick 'em, because Montana De La Rosa, I think, has multiple paths to victory, whether it is keeping it close on the feet, getting takedowns, taking Silva down, controlling or staying safe on top. And that has happened to Silva before. She has been taken down. She has been controlled. So it's definitely possible. And De La Rosa is a pretty solid grappler herself. And I want to say De La Rosa has 17 fights. 17 total fights for De La Rosa. She's only been submitted 1 time, and that was 2015 against one Mackenzie Dern. So could Silva get an armbar from guard? Sure, it can happen. But I think De La Rosa is a decent bet here. So I actually took a shot on De La Rosa. I got her at plus 124, and I have 1 unit on that. I just think the line should be flipped, honestly. I mean, if we're counting on Bueno Silva to get an armbar from guard, because I don't see her getting on top, I don't see her taking down De La Rosa. Her wrestling's not there, especially offensive. If anything, I see De La Rosa getting takedowns. But yeah, like I said, outside of an armbar from guard, I think De La Rosa can win a decision here. So not really interested in any props. If you're on the Silva side, maybe instead of the minus 135, Silva by sub plus 340. De La Rosa by decision was something else I was looking at, plus 165. She's not going to knock out Silva. She's not going to submit Silva, but I'm just going to take her straight. So give me Montana De La Rosa, plus 124, 1 unit on it. Taking a dog here in what I think should be either a closer line or completely flipped, honestly. But yeah, give me De La Rosa. Making those improvements, I think she's going to come out here looking very good on the feet, and I think those takedowns are going to be a big part of this win here. As far as DraftKings goes, Bueno Silva, 8,400. If she does win, and maybe it's an armbar from guard situation going on. Maybe it does score well. Maybe she does get the sub. So I think Bueno Silva is not a bad look. But at the same time, I think De La Rosa is not a bad dog because she's going to be going out there, getting takedowns more than likely, landing a decent amount of volume. Like I said, Bueno is so hittable. So I think on DraftKings, I like a little bit of both here. I like the savings on De La Rosa a little bit more, but definitely a fight I do want to target on DraftKings. Not go crazy with it or anything, but something I do think scores pretty decent. So yeah, give me De La Rosa taking a shot on the dog here. All right, what do we got in the chat? Audio is failing, doesn't it? Hopefully my audio is not failing. Here, Brady, classic question. If you were given $5K to place on one fight or prop, what would you do? What would I do? On this card, not a great card for that, but if I was given $5K to place a bet on any fight, that's a tough one. I guess I'd say Rivera Munhoz fight goes to decision if I was given $5K to place a bet on any fight on the card. Probably that, but even then, I don't feel comfortable with it. This card's kind of tough from a betting perspective. Rooting for De La Rosa, and I think she scores well if she just controls her on the ground. Yep, we've seen it time and time again. This control time really does add up on DraftKings. Oh man, I don't know. I had Rosa pick, but now I'm stuck with the pick. Hope it is not as with Charles Rosa last event. This was terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. Charles Rosa got dominated start to finish there. I'm on Silva this fight. Armbar from guard is women's MMA kryptonite. Yeah, we see it a ton. Rosa by sub plus 1,000. I don't know. Maybe. Audio's good. Audio's good. Pass. Yeah, they're probably the smart things to pass, but there really isn't many spots on it. So I'm taking the dog here. I'm taking a shot on the dog. I'm with you on Montana. I got a half a unit on her. She is making huge leaps in her striking. She can piece up Myra on the feet. That's what I'm thinking. I think she's – a lot of people think Silva's better on the feet, but I don't know. She's so hittable. I'd probably give the slight advantage to De La Rosa at this point, but it's so close. And then the wrestling advantage I think is going to be huge here. Who you got in 3 title fights next week? Tune in next week. I'm about to dig into that tonight. Hopefully get some bets out early on Patreon and stuff. So really looking forward to that card. That card next week is probably, the best card of the year easily. Gone. Rosen fight doesn't go to decision parlay with Ankalaev for my 5K bet. There you go. That's probably decent price there. Audio's good. Sweet. Okay. So we'll get into the co-main event. And yeah, like I said earlier in the video, the co-main event and the main event are insane. Like these fights are fantastic. But yeah, so the line on this co-main event here, Ankalaev minus 290 on some books. The dude's like minus 350, minus 330. I don't really understand that because taking a look at Ankalaev's kind of resume and what he's been doing so far in the UFC. So fighting guys like Paul Craig, which he lost, Marcin Prachnio, guys like Ion Kudalaba, guys like Klitzen Abreu, guys like Dolce Langambula. This is easily his toughest test. And for him to be minus like 350 on some books, I don't really get that. But then again, the dude's a beast. The dude's a beast. He's improving each and every time. His striking's phenomenal. But this is going to be a tough task. Krylov is no slouch at all. I mean, Krylov is seems like one of those killer be killed fighters. In 34 fights, Krylov has a 97% finish rate, which is the best on the slate. And he has been finished in 6 out of 7 losses. So this dude has went to decision, I want to say 2 times in his whole career. And those last 2 times were in his last 2 fights against Johnny Walker and Glover Teixeira. So this is typically a guy that does, finish his work inside the distance or gets finished himself. But just taking a look at it, like he's only been knocked out once. Krylov's only been knocked out once, and that was in 2013, and that was at the heavyweight division. Other than that, like his chin's really held up, and Ankalaev's not going to submit Krylov or anything like that. So I don't know. I think if there's a finish either side here, believe it or not, I want to say it comes from the Krylov side. I don't know though. I think the line's off. I was very tempted and maybe taking a small shot on the Krylov side, but Ankalaev I do think is the real deal. I do think it will be competing for the title in the near future. But man, Krylov is a tough test. So minus 340, I do think's off. Krylov by submission plus 770. I think if he wins, maybe it is a submission. Ankalaev has been submitted before, but it was a fluke, but still. And going back to that Paul Craig fight, something I did not like was Paul Craig was able to take him down twice. If Krylov takes him down, it's probably going to be some trouble. I'm going to take Ankalaev. I don't feel confident in it, especially at minus 340. On DraftKings, I'm going to have a decent amount of this fight. I think Krylov on DraftKings is very interesting. If he wins, he's probably going to be inside the distance. I don't see him winning a decision. 6,900 is not a bad look. Ankalaev, I'm kind of worried about this one because I do think he's going to be super high owned, and I'm not sure he could finish Krylov, somebody who's very durable. But then again, like the dude's been finished 7 times. But yeah, the chin's pretty good. So I'm going to slightly take Ankalaev. But I was very tempted on just throwing something on, maybe like a Krylov inside the distance at plus 455. I think the line's off. Tough fight to call for me, but I'm going to take Ankalaev because I do think if he is able to heat this on the feet, it's Ankalaev all day. I'm just worried about what happens if this does hit the mat because Krylov on the mat, I mean, the dude's been submitted 6 times, or 5 times, but he's legit. He really is. Krylov is a monster. I'm going with him. There you go. Fight doesn't go to decision. Ankalaev didn't have any resistance in any of his fights. He steamrolls everyone. Paul Craig got a fluke. That is true. He pretty much does steamroll the majority of his opponents, but this is his toughest task. Let's go Ankalaev. I'm surprised Ankalaev never had a sub win for a fighter with such roots. Yeah, not much of a submission guy. Tapping out last second must be heartbreaking with these odds. Krylov for the win. I like this co-main event. Yeah, it's a tricky fight. I agree. It's a pretty tough fight to call because, Krylov's going to bring it. He's going to make this a really good fight. He's going to come forward. It's tough. Krylov has only lost to 2 title contenders in the last 3 years. The question you need to ask yourself before betting is Ankalaev a title contender material? In my opinion, he is. And I'm with you. I do think he is. And that's why I'm picking him. I do think he has a good striking advantage, but just really worried about it, honestly. I had a huge bet on Ankalaev when he beat Kudalaba. I'll back him again. There you go. Sub Brady, my girlfriend lost all 6 fights on her main DraftKings card. So she's here watching you like I do. Thank you for all your work. Well, hopefully it's a better week for both of you guys this week. All 6. That's impressive, actually. So congrats. Draw plus 6,600. Bill with the draw call. There you go. All right. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm going to take Ankalaev. I'm not going to parlay or nothing like that. Minus 340 on some books, minus 350. But I will have a decent amount on DraftKings. I do think it's going to be a very exciting fight. But, yeah, give me Ankalaev. So, next we have the main event of the evening, and it's a heavyweight fight. Another line I think's off. I think this line should be a little bit closer just because we saw it last week. It only takes 1 shot from these heavyweights, and Rosenstruck does have that 1-shot power. He really does. Rosenstruck does have a 91% finish rate, all by knockout. Gane has an 86% finish rate, 43% by knockout, 43% by submission. And just going back and watching tape on Gane, like the dude is so good. He has so many great tools. He's not your typical heavyweight. He has, solid cardio. He has really solid output, solid takedowns, a solid ground game. He's very good. But Rosenstruck, it only takes 1. So I do like Gane here to win. And I think a very nice path to victory for Gane would be to take this down to the mat. And, I've been talking about it all week. Like Rosenstruck was taken down twice by Overeem. Rosenstruck kind of looked like a fish out of water, didn't know how to get up, didn't really do anything off his back in that Overeem fight. Rewinding a little bit more to the Junior Albini fight, Albini took him down twice. Albini took his back. Albini got into mount. And yeah, like I said, if Gane gets you into mount or takes your back, the fight's over. But Rosenstruck was able to reverse Junior Albini, but it's Junior Albini. So I don't know. I think if Gane wants to make this fight look pretty easy, in my opinion, I mean, take this fight down to the mat. But I thought Curtis Blades would take the fight down to the mat. So you never know. On the feet, I still favor Gane. I think he's going to be throwing more output. It's just it takes 1 shot from Rosenstruck. So I don't know. I'm not parlaying Gane or nothing like that. I might be looking at a prop. A lot of people are betting the overs in the fight. So I'm going to keep waiting. If I get like an under 2.5 at plus money or like an under 3.5 at close to plus money, I might take a shot on that because we got to remember these are heavyweights. And a lot of people thought, including me, that the Blades and Lewis would go over 1.5. It did not. And a lot of people thought that the Overeem fight with Volkov would go over 1.5, including me. It did not happen. And these guys are 2 finishers. A lot of people think that Gane's a decision guy. I mean, he's only won one decision. Between these 2 guys, They've only been to the scorecards twice. So I do see this finishing. I'm going to have a massive amount on DraftKings between the two guys. A little bit of lean on Gone, but Rosenstruck as a dog on DraftKings is not a bad look at all. So going to be close to 100% on this fight on DraftKings, especially with 10 fights. But I'm going to take Gone. But would I be shocked if Rosenstruck knocked him out? No, not at all. Was I shocked when Lewis knocked out Blades? No, not at all. I mean, I actually had a feeling it was coming after Blades had 0 takedowns after the first round. So it's heavyweight. Both guys have power. Rosenstruck does have that power advantage, but outside of the power advantage for Rosenstruck, outside of the experience edge, I think Gone has him beat everywhere else. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to the main event. I'm looking forward to the co-main event. 2 best fights on the card easily. So you guys having this, I see a lot of love for Rosenstruck. I don't hate it. He's definitely a dog that can get it done. It's an all-out war. Gone by sub if it goes to the mat. Yeah, I was thinking submission, but plus 375, really, it's not great. On submits him. There you go, good line. Plus 550, good line there. I wouldn't hate a shot on that, but now that it's plus 375, don't really like that. What round do you think Gone might sub him? I don't know. I'd say early. I'd say yes to over 1.5, but it's like minus 230 now, and these guys are heavyweights, so I don't know. I'd be sweating the whole time. Gone by KO round 2. He's going to cut angles with that movement. I can see it. Gone sub Jan Blachowicz KO 29-1. There you go. All right, I wasn't Gone. This pick changed a bit once again. I changed to Rosa. No shame to losing the fight to Ngannou. I agree. Last time was so much hype on Blades. I'm changing the direction. Not a bad look. Not a bad look. That is true. Rosen's only lost was to Ngannou. That is very true. Let's see here. Give me Rosen round 2 KO TKO. No way this goes to decision. I'm with you there. Rosen does not like decisions. That's true. He's only been to 1 decision in his career. Possible win by sub for Gone would not hurt to throw him in a small parlay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not parlaying anybody on this card myself, but I do think Gone wins. But I think Gone is a better fight IQ. I'm with you there. Yeah, that kind of surprised me as well. I think I heard a lot of people saying like the over 2.5s, the over 3.5s. Man, I mean, these are heavyweights. I don't know about that. So you're more confident in Munhoz going the distance more so than Gone fight ending inside the distance. I think kind of a little bit of both. I mean, I'd say about the same. People talk like Gone has no power. Come on now. He moves like he has a bantamweight, hella kicks and elbows. Yeah. A lot of people thought that Volkov didn't have power, and look what happened there. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, but didn't he have like 70 fights, something like that? Casuals. He could be. I mean, he looks it, but he still only has 7 fights, so he does need to get some more experience. But he looks decent. Brady once again, as he usually asks, how many fights end in KO TKO? Let's see. Maybe 1. Like literally, like maybe Ankalaev can get a knockout. Gone Rosenstruck could end in a knockout. Other than that, like I see a bunch of decisions. Caceres Croom probably ends in a sub. I'm gonna say 1. I'm gonna say 1 fight ends in knockout. Maybe I'll say 2. I'll say 2 just in case. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly go over my bets and then we'll hop out of here. I'll answer any final questions. Let's see what we got here. So the final bets, and I'll kind of touch on them again for the betting breakdown. I don't really see myself adding anything in unless the unders on like the 2.5 or 3.5 on the main event get too crazy. But I have 5 bets. Montana De La Rosa, plus 124 straight, 1 unit on that. Jimmy Rivera, minus 145 straight, 1.5 units on that. Kevin Croom, plus 210, 1 unit on that. Alex Caceres versus Kevin Croom, under 2.5 rounds, plus 170, 1 unit on that. And then shout out to Wheezy. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook. Rivera wins by decision, plus 275, 0.5 units on that. So let's see. Yeah, so make sure you guys hit the like button. I'm not sure how much we have, but 150 would be sweet. Subscribe. Check out the betting breakdown. Go check out Pub Sports Radio. I put the links for Pub Sports Live in the description. Going to be going live for the fights tomorrow. and then going to be going live on Karma Media for like a live before lock, answering any final questions on that on their YouTube channel. The link to their YouTube channel is in there below as well. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. We had a decent amount in the chat for as honestly for as bad as this card is. This card's not great. I mean, there's a couple good fights, but 10 fights, this card's not great. I mean, I'm ready for next week, but I'm also ready to win some money tomorrow as well. All right, guys. So any final questions before we head out? As always, very appreciated hanging out on a Friday night with me. Gone is the twin of Anthony Joshua. Knight. 4 knockouts. Shout out to you, Brady, for all your hard work. Let's make some money and rinse these bookies, y'all. I agree. Johnny's late. Well, luckily, you can go back and rewind that there. Last event, the prelims were overflowed with KOs. I guess nobody expected KO after KO. I have many decisions for upcoming event, but may I never know. I see 4 KOs. It could happen. I thought there was going to be a lot of finishes last week, but not that many finishes. Let's make some money. I agree. Yeah, I might play a little bit of champion mode this week for sure. The night fight. Yeah, the night fight and Menafield fight was a really good fight. It sucks that fight's off. Let's get it done. I agree. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, hit me up on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. I'm usually pretty good at getting back to you guys. You can sign up on the Patreon if you do want early access to my bets. The model you see here, betting breakdown videos, my article, which will be out soon. Talk about some more pops, Hail Mary, all that good stuff. And as always, it does help me out a ton. Brady, your show is exciting as the UFC event itself. Well, that makes me feel very happy there. I am always here right at 7. Appreciate that. You're a good guy. Thank you, Andy. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Good luck to you guys tomorrow. Tough card, but let's get it done. And then we'll see you next week. We have a really big card, UFC 259. I'm going to be trying to get out content extra early for that card. And yeah, let's get it, guys. See you.